So now what we need to do is that we need to show the appointments. So if the user, for example, clicks on show appointments, we need to display the appointments here. So to do that, first of all, we need to work on the show appointments. So we need to get the appointments that belongs to one of these departments. So if the user clicks on show appointments of the eyes, we need to go to the database and get the eyes appointments. So to do that, here, remember in the index I said here the input. The input has a value, and that value is the department ID. So we have the ID, but we need to give this input a name. We need to say here name, and the name is going to be, let's say, department ID, because we want to access the department ID from that input. And to do that, here in the project controller, now this request has that ID. So we can use the request. We can say here request and then input, and then we can access the department ID. And then I'm going to store this in a variable called department ID. Now the next step is that we need to make a request and get to the database and get all of the appointments that belong to this apartment. So to do that, we need to use the appointment model. Remember the appointment model. So I'm going to say appointment, and we need to import the appointment model at the top. So at the top here, you need to say use app for a /models/appointment. This is very, very important. And then the next step is that we need to say where the ID, where the department ID, the department ID is equal to the department ID, because we don't want to get all of these appointments. We only want to get appointments that belong to one of these departments, according to depending on which department the user clicked on. So if the user clicked on the first one, we only need to get these 4 appointments. So here we need to say where department ID is equal to the department ID, and then we just need to call a function called get to get these appointments. And then I'm going to store the appointments in a variable called appointments. And finally, we need to pass the appointments to the view. So I'm going to say return view, and then the view is going to be called appointments. And then I'm going to say comma, and then I'm going to pass the appointments in a key called appointments. And the value obviously is going to be the appointments. That's it. Now we need to create the appointments view. So in the view, I'm going to create here. Here I'm going to open up the view, and then I'm going to create here in the, not this one, actually this one, resources, and then views, and then I'm going to click on the views, right click, and then new file, and then I'm going to create a file called appointments.blade.php. And then I'm going to add the code to display all of the appointments that I want here in this file. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy the code from the index. I'm going to copy the code from here because it's going to be similar. I'm going to copy the code from here, and then I'm going to paste it here in the appointments. However, we need to remove this part. We need to remove this part. I'm going to remove this part completely. I'm going to remove this, and also this div. And then in between here, we need to work on displaying the appointments. And I'm going to do that by using the table given by Bootstrap.